This game, though, very low scoring, relatively uneventful. 20-17. The Cowboys survive. One of my fantastic betting picks that I gave out last week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on my my continuous 3-0 weeks that I keep having. But there is a massive talking point to be had with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I still don't know for certain if the Cowboys have resurrected themselves to relevancy and if they're going to continue to rally. It feels like they're eking out close wins. They played well against two good defenses, so there definitely deserves to be respect there for them to outlast the two defensive opponents that they just saw. But there is such a problem right now with the Steelers offense and more importantly at receiver. And I think it's such a farce that we've got George Pickens, who's got on his damn eye black, trying to be Ryan Williams, doing the same thing, writing on the eye black. Instead, he puts always effing open. Are you freaking kidding me with the way that he played in this game?
Always effing jogging was what his performance was.
And if I'm making sure it was him, he was the jerk off at the end of the game who yanked down Trevon Diggs by his face mask. Am I correct, or am I misremembering here?
I'm trying to recall.
You sent me the clip.
There was a lot of yanking in this game. Calvin Austin got yanked down pretty hard. It was
on the last play of the game. You're the one who sent it to me.
Yeah, it was a feisty yank.
Yeah, it was George Pickens who did this.
Pickens is angry. I saw Cowherd describing. I think it was Cowherd.
God, this is such a good clip.
I believe he was describing the Pittsburgh offense as like a flip phone. It's not in the modern. Yeah, it's not in the modern way of technology in the game. It doesn't feel like a flip phone to me because that's what the Chargers are when everyone's healthy, and that means they're reliable. It's going to make the calls, and they're going to run the hell out of the rock. This offense is like putting buttons back on the iPhone. Unnecessary, jumbled, and confusing. It doesn't work. We're beyond the buttons. It's all touchscreen now, or it's all buttons. You can't have some type of hybrid nonsense like what the Steelers are trying to do. And having Justin Fields out there running for his life all night.
To paint the issues that this team is having, and I think that I did a radio spot today and they asked me this. I think that, don't make that noise. Don't make that noise.
What?
You're making it seem like I'm trying to brag. You're making it seem like I'm trying to brag. I was asked this question of, do they switch to Russell Wilson as soon as they can? And I think that the answer is no. I think that Justin Fields has played well up until this game that he had against the Cowboys. Their receiving core is abysmal. It is god-awfully terrible. Your leading receiver in this game was Najee Harris with 2 receptions for 35 yards. George Pickens, who was the goof-off who had the meltdown at the end of the game, 3 for 26. They have to, absolutely 1,000% have to do everything in their power to go and get Russell Wilson. Or not Russell Wilson, go and get Davante Adams. They need to put together any trade package possible to get him. They can't go and get a mid-tier guy. They're also not going to be able to go and get Amari Cooper because that's within the division. I'd be stunned if they were willing to make that deal. They must go after Davante Adams. This deal sounds like it could happen anytime soon, and if they don't, they're going to be doomed. They don't have any juice on offense. They need somebody good that they can rely on in go-to situations. And heck, I'd throw this in there. I would trade Russell Wilson a part of that deal because right now, we're going to get to the Raiders later, their offense is horrible too because they don't have a quarterback. They would be so happy if you offered them Russell Wilson because it's something to start back there instead of Aiden O'Connell. I'm sure that you can include that in the deal to sweeten the pot along with the second rounder that they want. But plain and simple, he's the only guy on the market. Do not let him go elsewhere. Otherwise, your team is going to get passed by the Bengals and the Ravens within the division.
Can I say this about Najee Harris without anybody getting angry?
I find that doubtful.
He is the king of wasted movement. Every step that he takes is a trigger step. I've never seen Najee. Last night was a great example. Najee Harris never gets to his stride. He never actually gets running. He's just moving. And that is just a weird running back thing with him that isn't working. I honestly, I think they should just go with the backup running backs at this point. They need Jalen Warren back. His production on the offense, 3 yards a carry, 14 carries, 42 yards against a Dallas defense, Joe. Tell me if I'm wrong. Are they good or bad against the running back position?
Not very good.
Not very good. And he was held to 3 yards a carry. All I did was watch him stutter step like he's doing the tire drill and go for 3 yards and just fall down. It's not working. Pittsburgh, It's time to move on. It is. I am officially giving up on Najee
I didn't know
Harris.
that was where this was going.
I've been watching him intently for the last 3 years, waiting for it. Najee Harris, fast, strong, seemingly agile, but when the pads are on and he gets the handoff, he goes nowhere. He's running in quicksand. It's a bugaboo that I have with the Pittsburgh Steelers offense, and they can't commit to someone that actually wants to run vertically.
Yeah, again, I'm kind of a little stunned that was who you had take issue with. I think it has more to do with the receiving room.
I mean, look, the receiving room, they didn't do themselves any favors in the offseason. Well, actually, they brought in Van Jefferson, Rams and Falcons legend. So what did you expect out of that? It was going to be the George Pickens show, and they were going to try to get Pat Fryer move
Meltdown machine,
the ball
George
more.
Pickens.
Yeah, they're out on a raft without a paddle, and it's like the Steelers are acting like they have Mahomes at the coaching position. Like, Tomlin's just going to save us somehow. He's just going to coach his ass off, and we're going to end up with a win. You still got to play 4 quarters. You still got to get first downs and touchdowns. You can't let the DOA Dallas Cowboys, with no momentum and all the drama, come in your house and beat you on Sunday night in the fashion that they did, with Dak Prescott letting Dallas Twitter meltdown. Were you tracking the Cowboys Twitter after each pick?
I was not.
It was the most toxicity I could have even imagined. You had Mike McCarthy with a cookout menu calling awful plays, and he still beat you. Shame on Pittsburgh in this game.
Yeah, a lot needs to be done for them offensively in order to resurrect their season.